In this video, I turn Animal Crossing into a first-person shooter. Animal Crossing is one of the most peaceful games out there, and we're taking everything charming about Animal Crossing, stripping it away, and injecting a dose of adrenaline with guns, explosions, and chaos. Here's how we're gonna do it. First, we're going to create a first-person controller. Next, we'll recreate Animal Crossing's world-bending effect. Then, it's time to build an open-world island. After that, we'll focus on crafting game mechanics. Finally, we'll develop a single-player campaign. And the most important step is to try not to get sued by Nintendo. Now that we have our game plan, let's set up our first-person controller. I've done this a few times before, so this should be a breeze. So after about an hour, we got the player able to move, sprint, and jump. Now I need to figure out how to get that world-bending effect seen in the original game. I stumbled upon this tutorial by Notslot that went into detail on how it works. This is how I understand it. So we have this flat surface and we have a shader that does a bunch of complicated math, and this distorts this flat surface based on how far away things are from the camera. This distortion is strongest along the z-axis, which is how far the player can see on the horizon. So objects closer to the camera appear normal, but as they get further away, they start to curve upwards. This bending effect gives the impression that the player is in a rounded world. The rest of the tutorial was easy to follow, and after integrating my player controller into the game world, everything was working smoothly. That's already 2 steps completed off our plan. So next up is creating the island. I looked around the Unity asset store and stumbled upon this perfect one, Kawaii Land. With its easy to use tile system, I quickly got to work creating the island. With the foundation of our map ready, we just need assets to bring life to this island. Thanks to Centrixie the dodo, I was able to get rigged models of the villagers and many other assets such as buildings, furniture, and textures, which I'm of course using for educational purposes. Whoa, come on now, I'm not stealing. Leave me alone now. With all these new assets acquired, I started adding them all to the island and updating textures and even created a day and night cycle. Everything was going great. The map was completed and all we needed to do now was add the villagers and give them some basic AI to walk around the island. Luckily for us, Unity has a built-in navigation system that tells the AI where it can and can't walk, and you just adjust some values and press a button and it's all set. What? Come on. Where's the nav mesh on the grass? Turns out the way I created the tile map was wrong and I needed to use game objects and manually place each one in the right orientation and position. Now I'm regretting making a huge map, but let's get this over with. After a couple of days, the map is now completed and the nav mesh is working, so we can finally move on to adding the villagers. I got a walking animation from Mixamo and tested to see if the villagers can walk around the nav mesh, and it seemed to be working great, but these villagers are missing something: ragdolls. Since the villagers are already rigged, this means we just need to drag each joint to the corresponding slot and click this button and everything should be fine. What? What is going on over there? Now this process needs to be repeated for every villager, and we got about, actually, I'm not sure how many villagers are in Animal Crossing. 413? We're gonna leave that task for future me. Instead, let's finish our player controller. It's time to bring in an arsenal of weapons and plenty of them. So I decided to add 8 different weapons to the game. We got a pistol, revolver, shotgun, Tommy gun, sniper, assault rifle, minigun, and a RPG. Now that we have an entire arsenal of weapons, I'm tired of killing the same villagers, so we need more variety. So for now, I added a few more variations of villagers and rigged them up and added animations, so let's test it out. Alright, I might have gotten a little carried away, but it's time we work on the game's core mechanics now. First, I created a dialogue system so you could go up to villagers and see what they have to say. They also make similar sounds when talking, kind of like from the original game, but just way worse. I created a quest system so that later on when I'm creating the campaign, it's easy to see what tasks you must do to proceed. I also put in this unique weapon switching system, totally not inspired by GTA. I feel it makes choosing your arsenal a little more fun than clicking a button. Now with these upgrades, our game's core mechanics are all set and better than ever, so what's next? Well, if you haven't noticed, I've been drawing inspiration from Animal Crossing New Leaf. The entire campaign is going to be based off this game's premise, but the only thing I'm missing is Main Street, so it's time to start creating Main Street. Guided by a reference image I found online online and my previous knowledge of the tile map, it was pretty straightforward other than some bizarre bugs, but Main Street was finally ready. So the player controller is all set, the island is completely finished now, and the core mechanics are all set up. I think our villagers need an upgrade right now. All they do is walk, and that's just not enough. They need a flight or fight response. I updated the AI to make the villagers start sprinting if they get shot to run away from danger. Or I guess run into danger? I didn't say I was good at programming, alright? I also updated the AI to have the villagers shoot back if they get shot, and he just shot himself. Okay, I got some work cut out for me. I spread a decent amount of spawn points around the map to randomly spawn villagers and gave them the chance to spawn either armed or unarmed. Finally, I grinded out 50 more villagers to give more variety in the world instead of seeing the same 5 villagers over and over again. We're nearly there to finish the game. All that was left was creating more missions for the campaign that I won't bore you with. I also created a final boss that you're just gonna have to watch to the end to see. I focused on the finer details such as menus, loading screens, and working on a game logo, also enhancing the world with more assets and interactive interiors, making it so you can go inside the villagers' houses. Unfortunately, due to legal reasons, my lawyer advised me not to make this game public since technically nobody can play this game. It's time to move on to other projects. Go ahead and comment down below what other games you would like me to turn into a first-person shooter or any other ideas at all. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing and liking the video. I would appreciate it so much. If you haven't checked out my Discord yet, make sure you do to find links to all the games I've created. The link will be in the description. And while you're down there, why not follow me across all my other social media platforms? But for now, I'll leave you with some gameplay and I'll even reveal the boss fight.